all our Redux setup, a Firebase integration, everything is completed, right? Now the problem is we need to persist the login detail whenever a login successful, right? If I'm just typing stf@gmail.com and pass 123, so this is login successfully. Now if I remove the application, it should persist the same login, right? Again it is asking me login to the screen. This should not happen. We have to persist the reducer. For that one, what I am going to use, I am going to use Redux Persist, right? So here is the usage of Redux Persist with Redux Toolkit. You can check out the document usage guide. So I am going to integrate Redux Persist with the library. For that one, what I am going to do, I am just adding Redux Persist first. Yarn add Redux Persist. Now the next thing what we need is we need a storage for storing the data permanently, right? So we are going to persist the data permanently. So we need a persist storage. So in the documentation, they are suggesting Redux persist storage, which I am not going to use in my project because this will going to give error when you are running the project. So I am going to use async storage of React Native. So here we are going to install sync storage of React Native, this one. Okay, now what I'm going to do, I'm going to add this library into my project. npm React Native async storage. Yes, as we have used the yarn, we are just changing into yarn. If you are not able to see, I can just make it little. Yes, now I have added the library. Now the rest of the old code we have to deal with our store, right? So we can just open our store code. Here is the store configuration. Now the next thing is what I'm going to do. I'm just checking my documentation. I need to import this all from Redux Persist, right? So we can just import. Yes, fine. Then what we need persist get, which we don't need. We can just skip for now. We need root reducer, right? So we can just create our root reducer. Const root reducer. Here you can see we cannot assign like an object in root reducer. We cannot like do like this. Okay, so that it does not make any sense. What I am going to do, I am going to use one more thing from Redux Toolkit, that is combine reducer. Okay, now I am going to combine this using Redux Persist. For that one, what I am going to do, I am going to create my root reducer, right? So here you can see combine reducers. So the next thing is we need auth reducer. So we can just create auth reducer to auth reducer. Here what I'm going to do, I'm just changing this into auth reducer, right? So now the we have created our combined reducer. If you have multiple reducer like this, if you have profile reducer, okay, profile reducer, from profile reducer, okay, so what we have to do, just add it in the combined reducer. You can combine multiple reducer in using the combined reducer. So we have combined reducer. If you have combined reducer, we can just combine multiple reducer into a single reducer. So just combine this one. Now the next thing is we need to persist this one, right? So what we can do, we have declared our root reducer, then we need to persist this one. So for that one, what I am going to do, I am going to import persist reducer, import persist reducer from Redux Persist. So this will help to persist our reducer. We can just persist our reducer here. Here you can see persist dot. Yes, just copy this command. Here root reducer we have supplied. Now we need the persist configuration. So we can just declare our persist configuration as an object. Here one value is important, that is key. I'm passing key as root. The next very important thing is storage. Okay, storage. The keyword is storage. Now we have to supply a storage for the permanent storaging, right? So in this example, they have supplied a Redux Persist library storage, which will be giving an error on the React Native side. So I am going to use async storage. So we can just check out the documentation. Here you can see async storage. What I am going to do, I am going to import the async storage from React Native async storage. Import async storage from React Native storage. Just I'm going to supply this storage into persist configure. Now whatever the value is available in our Redux store will be stored in async storage for the permanent persistence. Now the next thing is what we have created our persistent reducer, and we have supplied our root reducer. We need to supply this into Redux Persist. Also we have to remove this line of code, so this will give error and it will not persist. Also we need to check out the documentation. There are some serialized callback is there. If you just run here, you can see different errors are coming, right? So we have to remove that one. Persist reducer already removed. Yes, persist reducer already added. Now the next thing is what we need. We need to persist our store, right? So we can just persist const or export const persister, right? We can just have persister. Then we have to persist our store, right? So we can just have persist store method and this pass this store to here. Now the next thing what we have to change in app.js file, here I am going to integrate our persist gate. Okay, just import this persist gate. Okay, now the next thing is we need to supply two value. One is we have already imported, second thing is persister. So we can just import our persister from store. So we have already applied our store here. Now the next thing is we need a persist gate. Okay, so we can just add this line of code here. Then we can have this one. Okay, now the next thing is we can just check out whether it is working perfectly. We can just check. Yes, now we are facing an issue, right? Here you can see non-serializable callback detected on action. Now this error is coming from here. You can just go here. We can add this line of code into the middleware. So we can just go index. Here is the middleware, get default middleware. Just add this line of code and make sure that this all imported from Redux Persist, which we have already imported. Now if I just refresh, let's see anything. So we have not maintained any code. We can just change this and we can just log in stf@gmail.com, pass 123. Now it's logged. Yes, it's logged. You can just check whether it is working perfectly. Yes, auth reducer is coming. Yes, auth state is 2. Right now if I just remove into here and again call back, so auth reducer is persisting. We have some issue with the next state. Auth reducer is there. Yes, we have to whitelist our auth reducer. We can just have whitelist. So go to here, there will be version 1 we have to add, which we have missed, and then whitelist. We can just have auth reducer. Now if I just again refresh, let's see. So auth reducer is there. It persisted. It does not have a value for now. Yes, fine. Now what we can do, we can just log in once more. stf@gmail.com, pass 123. If I just log in, let's check is logged in. Again I'm just killing the application. Again just I'm calling the application. Here you can see the data is persisted. Now if you just log into here, you can see the data is persisting. Now what the thing we have changed, we have just added whitelist. Whitelist means whatever the value which we need to persist, we need to persist auth reducer, right? Here you can see auth reducer. This auth reducer need to persist. If you want to persist, if you do not want to persist, you have to create blacklist. Now I don't want to persist my navigation. Okay, so here you can just pass which is does not want to persist. Now if I just run the application once more, here you can see nothing changed because we are not persisting our navigation. See, so the data is already persisting. Here you can just check out init. On the init time there is no data on the state. Now this after persist the data is coming. After rehydrated you can see all the value with whatever the last state is stored here. Clear? So we have completed the integration of Redux Persist. So whatever we have done, we have just created a reducer, persist reducer. Then we have created a persist store. Now in the app.js file, we just passed our persist gate here. Clear? So this is how we will integrate Redux Persist into our application. So what is the advantage of Redux Persist? It will persist the data. We don't want to log in the second time, right? If I kill the application, anything, right? The data will come and it will persist the data. How the logic is working here, you can see on the navigation, we have already passed the auth state, right? So after login successful, it will always true. Now if it is true, it will automatically navigate into home navigation. So this is how we are persisting our data. Clear? So now once again, just check out the documentation of Redux Persist, how we are using. Also try to use async storage with Redux Persist. The built-in library of Redux Persist will not work. If you try to use this, will give an error. And always try to use async storage with Redux Persist. So async storage will treat as our permanent storage for storing all the data. Clear? Successfully completed our persisting. Right now, if you just try to close the application, again it's opened, it will open the home screen. Now what we need to sign out the application, right? We need to clear the data. For that one, what we can do, go to the home screen. Here I am going to create a button. We can just copy the button from here, just go to the home screen. Yes, I am creating a logout button. Logout button should be imported from React Native. Now we can just make on press logout. Okay, now on press logout. Here you can just say const on press logout. Right? So now if I log out, it should clear my cache, right? It should clear my all the data, whatever we have stored. So we can just have a padding as well. Padding, fit, and align item at the sender. Sorry, justify content at the sender. Now if I just refresh, let's see, logout button is coming here. We can just make this as text align sender for some styling purpose, and also we can just give a margin bottom 40. Right now if I just key, I can see my home screen perfectly. Now if I click logout, it should navigate into home screen. Now the next thing is what we can do, we can create an action on the here. What I'm going to do here, I'm going to create my action for logout. Export const sign out, create async tongue. Now I'm just adding auth sign out. Here I'm just giving arrow function. Then what we can do, we can just check if there is already login, if there is already user is existing, right? So that we can check with let user auth current user. Okay, so this will give the current user detail. If it is existing, we don't want to sign it. If not existing, if it is existing, we can just have a sign out method from React Native Firebase. Here you can see signing out, right? So here you can just use this method, await, then auth sign out, right? So we have successfully signed out from the Firebase using this method, right? Now the next thing is we need to remove the data from Redux store as well, right? So for that one, what I'm just doing, I'm just returning an empty array, right? Now we can just check out, we can just add this into home screen. So import sign auth from reducer auth reducer, right? Now we need to dispatch this action. So we can just go here, copy this one, add into home screen. Now going to dispatch this action. Here we can just have our dispatch. Now then inside dispatch, we can dispatch sign out, right? So if I just click here, you can see logout button. You can also, we need to handle in the reducer case, right? So now we have a register case, right? Register case. This all are three about register. Then we have a login case. Then what we are going to do, we are going to add a sign out case. Okay, sign out case, we don't want to handle all the pending or all the logout, anything we don't want to handle. We just need to handle when it is success, right? Sign out is success. For that one, what I am going to do, just copy this sign out success. At that time, what I am going to do, loading I am going to set into false. Fine. Also set auto is to false. Then what I am going to do, email I am going to set email user ID, means we are setting all the value to initial case, right? Now what I am going to do, just check whether it is working properly. Refresh the function. Here I am going to dispatch my logout action. We can just check here, clear logout. See, it's logged out, and all the value it's reset into initial case. It's also resetted from the Firebase using the method log sign out. So we have cleared from the Firebase, we have logged out from the Firebase, as well as we have cleared all the data which we have stored on the Redux. So sign out process is also completely successful. Fine. But all the Android setup is completed. We can just run our iOS. For that one, first what I have to do, clear this all. Here what I am going to type bundle, the command which already know, bundle install, which will install our binaries. So we can just install or bundle install. Okay, so this will install all our port dependencies. Yes, installing port dependencies. Yes. So meanwhile, we can just complete our Firebase setup, right? So we can just go into JASACADAMY. So port install is completed. Then go to CD iOS port install. So it will install all our port whatever we need. Meanwhile, we can just complete our Firebase console setup. So we are already created setup for iOS, right? Now what we can do? Go to the symbol auth. So symbol auth, inside here you can just add app. Here you can see Apple, just Apple. We will be using, we can just check out our package name, just open the Xcode. So let's try to complete this one, because we need to create our workspace, right? So we can just wait for a moment. Completed our pod installation. You can see all the pods are completed. Now what we can do, just open our workspace. So it will open our workspace. Here you can see. Now if you just open the workspace, here you can see the first folder. Just click on that one, Redux Persist, select the project. Now inside general, here you can see the package name, right? So just copy this package name, bundle identifier. So we can just copy the bundle identifier from here. Just copy, and just what you have to do, paste it on the bundle identifier, register app. Next we can just skip all this step, go to the console. Now here is the step, right? So inside this project, what you have to do, you can just verify authentication is already enabled. So this will be common for iOS. This is enabled, we have enabled for the project, so it will be common. Now what we can do, just go to the project. Here you can see the settings, and inside that one you can see the info.plist, right? So just download the info.plist. Downloaded. Open the workspace, click on here. Now the next thing is, we need to paste this info.plist into our project, right? So we can just go here, download, copy this into our project. Okay, so we can just paste it here, and it will ask a question, Redux Persisted, we can just have, and also just check mark if copy if item is needed, then finish. Now we have added our info.plist. we can just install the application for right now. We can just what is working. Successfully build our iOS application. You can see in my iOS application is running. Make sure that you have added the info.plist. Now the next thing is we need to initialize the Firebase. Okay, for that one, what you have to do, go to your Firebase documentation. Here you can see configure Firebase with iOS credential. Before that one, it was saying to add info.plist. So we have added that one. The next thing is we need to initialize. So copy this one, paste it in appdelegate.h. Okay, and then also we have to paste this in appdelegate.m. Then the next thing is we need to initialize, right? So we can just copy this one, copy it in the here. So here you can see a method did finish launch with options, right? You have to copy inside that function. Now again we have to build the application once more. Yes, we are able to build the application successfully. We can just check. Here is the application is building. Now we can just check all our functionality. Firstly, we can just log in SDF. Just remove the capitalization. SDF@gmail.com. Pass 123. Login. Yes. So we have successfully logged into our iOS application. So we are using our Firebase. We have successfully able to build the application with the Firebase. Now you can see it's persisting the data, right? If I just remove the application from the door and again open, you can see it's automatically navigating to home screen. Now if I log out, here you can see if I just remove once more, it's opening the login screen. Now we can also just try for the registration, cf@gmail.com. We can have a password, pass 123, register. So it's going to home screen. You can just check into the Firebase auth, click on the auth settings. Here you can see cf@gmail.com, which we have just logged in. So we have successfully completed our iOS integration as well. The main thing what you have to do, you have to generate info.plist file, then initialize appdate Firebase config on appdelegate.m. Then rest of the thing will be same as rest of the thing, all the things will run as same as in Android. Okay, fine. So we can jump into the next.